So I'm doing this video at what is essentially the behest of my Hungarian subscribers, who have said that I sounded like I was going too easy on Orbán in my last video. And I think it's things like this that make people outside of Hungary think that he's not all that bad. Crimes of communism still excused by many in the West, where he's just basically ripping into the EU and the West in general for going easy on communism, unlike how we do on Nazism, because they're both absolutely cancerous. And while I completely agree with him on this, and on his stance as Soros, and again, it's one of those things that people have said, well, it's a bit authoritarian to shut down a university. It's like, well, yeah, I agree. I don't like it either. But you can't have these people producing subversive revolutionaries. It's not something that is tenable. I mean, in Evergreen College, for example, that was through public money, and this is private, but still, it's the same thing with Saudi mosques, and we're going to have to shut them down. I'm sorry, they are subversive. They are producing people who are looking to overthrow Western liberal democracies. So no, this is non-negotiable, unfortunately. What they're doing is seditious. It's going to end up with some kind of insurrection in some way. So no, we can't let that carry on. That's just allowing a cancer to fester. So unfortunately, yeah, I don't like it, but we can't just let that carry on. I mean, we're seeing the results of it now. We're seeing the terrorism on London. We're seeing the constant, gangs of adult children in universities in America. This can't continue. It can't go on indefinitely. They have to be stopped, and they have to be stopped at the source of it. I want as free a society as possible, don't get me wrong, but I also want my nation state to exist. But anyway, getting back to Orbán, he's not like an angel or anything like that. And when Soros says, well, he's effectively running a mob operation in the government, and he's long been accused of cronyism, basically. And I, as far as I can tell, I've just been looking into it via Google, not very deep, but it didn't take very long to find stuff. And I suspect that what he was being accused of is probably true. For example, here, where he's taking mob payouts in the 90s, for example, he's been doing this for years. This is only an accusation, but honestly, if I was going to put money on it, And then you've got him building a stadium in a tiny village, and you think, well, why did he build... we're talking about a massive football stadium in a tiny village, where almost the entire village is working on it. And you think, well, why on earth would you build a giant football stadium in a tiny village, which is over 20 miles away from Budapest? And the answer is, of course, Orbán was born there. That's his home village. And so it's obviously for his own self-interest, for his own self-aggrandizement. Another troubling aspect is the attack on press freedom, which is something that I am also completely against. And I just want to be clear, I really don't like saying, look, I think you might have to actually shut this university down, because from all accounts that I've heard, it's actually a really good university. Soros is putting top dollar into it. It's attracting some of the best and brightest from America. And this is one of the... I was talking to V about this. He'd been looking into it as well. And apparently one of the reasons that people were protesting the shutting down of this university, that's my chair, not me, is the fact that there's essentially various industries that have grown up around it. People selling food or, clothes and whatever to the students. And the services that have grown up around the university, that people don't want to lose their jobs. Understandably so. And it's, completely legitimate for them to be concerned about that. But when you end up saying, well, you know what, actually nothing about our society is valid, so why don't we just tear it all up and not worry about it? No, that's unacceptable. I mean, just from a consequentialist argument, standpoint, it's going to cause huge goddamn problems. If you want change, they have to be slow and gradual, so people have time to adapt, and you don't get a terrible situation arising because of them. But yeah, the worrying thing about this legislation, apparently, is the fact that it puts into place new regulatory structures with excessively broad authority and questionable independence, which is exactly what we're walking into the same problem in the West, just so you know. It also provides limited possibilities for judicial review of the decisions made by that body, and has the ability to issue or suspend licenses, monitor media content, and issue fines and levies in the cases of content violation. Honestly, we're getting there. We are honestly getting there. I mean, Germany putting in a TV license, a broadcast license, for using YouTube was scary in my opinion. And Theresa May is using this latest attack in order to try and get more regulatory powers over the internet. This is an unfortunate consequence of the internet in the era of the nation state. The nation state still has the sovereign authority, and so they get to decide. However, we can't do away with the sovereign authority of our nation states, because that's dangerous for the poor people living in the nation state. Generally, it's okay for the wealthy and the middle class. They can get by. They're the people who are skilled. They are the people who can move out of an area if they don't like that area. They can get half-decent jobs. They can live good lives away from the problems. The people who are poor can't, and that's a problem, because then they start revolting and they can vote. And it's because they can vote that we have to pay attention to what is bad for them. And because there are loads of them, that really matters, as we've seen with Brexit and Trump. So, no, the idea of, like, ending the nation state at this point in history is untenable. It's going to cause huge social upheavals, and it's going to cause them, and the thing is, I mean, what can we do? You know, what other options are there at the moment? And just opening the borders and letting corporations run rampant, just demolishing demand for labour, is just crazy. It seems ridiculous. So yeah, like I said, I don't really like Orbán particularly. I like his stance on communism. I like his stance on Soros and globalism. However, if I had to live under it, I wouldn't enjoy this. And I don't enjoy the fact that it's happening to us. But, unfortunately, I can't go with the people who literally want to undermine our entire way of life and replace it with a centrally planned top-down structure for all of us, which is what they're going to do. If you want to know what a world government structure is going to actually look like, look at the EU, and then times that by about 6, for pretty much, every continent and large area of the world. Then imagine that, it'll be multiple EUs around the world. All of these unions will end up coalescing under another government body, and they'll call that whatever, the Council of the World or something. And then, imagine you as a voter trying to get anything done in this system. It's just ridiculous. Nothing, you'll be 3 steps away. It's bad enough for the EU and we're 2 steps away, removed from power. Imagine being 3 steps. These people are never going to see you. They're not even going to care about the national borders, like each union containing the nations as effectively provinces. They're not going to give a damn about the people who are leading the nations, let alone the people who are leading the unions. And then to whatever, like in a council of the World Council it is, these people are just not going to see you as something to give a shit about. You're going to be someone else's problem to them. So yeah, like I was saying, Soros's accusations at Orbán are generally correct, as far as I can tell. Soros is an intelligent man, he's well educated, he's not a fool, and he's clearly not gone senile. In fact, that's one of the bad bits about George Soros. He'd be a lot less of a danger if he'd gone senile. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that people from Hungary knew I wasn't unappreciative of the fact that you are not living under the best case scenario with this guy. He's not like some hero. He's just got the same interests as us at this point.